Hello, YouTube. This is Robski checking in. It is March 31st, 2018. It is a beautiful morning here in Boise, Idaho, and I am about ready to go golfing today. I'm really looking forward to that. Even though I had kind of working a lot, kind of had a rough night last night. Just found out there was a couple people that, well, a certain person who I grew up with, went to college with. He's in the same fraternity, and I felt like he stabbed me in the back last night. But other than that, I'm doing quite well. So I'm here to do another book review. I'm really excited for this one because I feel that the individual I'm about to do the book review on, I feel like he's in a really great organization. And when I say that, I'm talking about just the professionalism of this particular organization. I'm not necessarily saying that, nothing's perfect and there's, things we don't see behind the scenes, but regardless, I'm really looking forward to doing this book review. So here it is. I am doing a book review on, the title's called Relentless. And it is a memoir, if you will, kind of an biography type thing on the football player Julian Edelman. Now, whether you like the Patriots or not, or whether you like football or not, this is another one of those stories that talks about an individual who didn't have the most physical gifts growing up, another one of those underdog stories about just overcoming adversity, outworking your shortcomings. Basically, it's Julian Edelman grew up as an undersized kid. He's always had speed and quickness, but again, he was undersized and had to compete against much larger people. The book talks about how he grew up in a middle class home, and he had to he grew up in the Redwood, California. Was a grew up a 49ers fan just like I did. He grew up, as a 90s kid. He grew up with Steve Young, Jerry Rice, just like I did. And he just talks about kind of his road to the NFL. He had to go to the community college route because he was small. He was actually people don't know this, but Julian Edelman spent most of his amateur football career as a quarterback. Kind of a dual threat guy, ends up going to Kent State and beats out a guy who's much bigger, 6'6", and does well. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't a perfect resume. Goes in, comes into the Patriots. I think he was either a low draft pick or undrafted. I can't remember. And talks about how difficult it was to make the team, and his relationship with Wes Welker, other players. Talks a lot about Tom Brady in the book. Talks a lot about Bill Belichick. Talks about some of the friends he's grown up. What I want you guys to know too is, and what I admire about Julian Edelman is that there was some things that happened to it in his life that I think it's definitely more acceptable nowadays. But there's some things that happened in his life that, even as a Patriot, he made some mistakes off the field as far as, he didn't know if this was the right move or not. But regardless, I'm not here to judge. He talks about how important it was to be a father, even though the child he had was out of wedlock. He still made it work. And again, what I admire about him was that he was able to, and I'm not saying what happened to in that situation was a mistake. I mean, I'm not, one to say that, you have a child out of wedlock. It's just not the traditional route, and it's often still frowned upon, even though our society's a lot more accepting of that. He was able to, humble himself and talk about that very personal decision. And I was very impressed because, again, Tom Brady's had a child out of wedlock, and you don't hear a lot about that. And again, the reason why I'm impressed with both these two individuals is their work ethic. You know, Julian Edelman, it was cool because, you know, his dad, when Julian Edelman came out and he wanted to make the Patriots, his dad's like, well, you're 10,000 balls behind, you're 10,000, you know, receptions by somebody on the roster. So what he's meaning was that, you know, Julian was behind the curve going into the NFL because he was quarterback and he turned it into a wide receiver. His old man was saying, you know, get out there and catch 10,000 balls, and you know, it's like the Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. So he just went out and went for it. You know, he didn't really pay attention to you're a 5'10" white guy. He didn't really pay attention to, you know, you don't have what it takes and all that. He just went out and got to work. And I think that a lot of people, I see this as, you know, when I'm out there doing my day job, or I'm out there, especially when I'm bouncing, you see these people and they come in and they're in their 40s, 30s, even their 50s, and they're so self-conscious about age. You know, for most things in life, age can be overcame. You just go out there and get to work, and you don't listen to what people say. Anybody that criticizes you for trying to obtain a skill is just jealous because they're not, you know, strong enough or brave enough to try to develop the same skill. You know, there's countless stories of, you know, Herschel Walker is a great example of this. He started his MMA career at 48, and the guy looks great. And again, he didn't care about, you know, his age. He just went and got to work. And you know, I want to, with what some of these men have been doing, I want to take and put it in my life. So, a couple other things I thought was cool with Julian was he almost became a 49er, which that was growing up. That was his dream to play for the 49ers. It was there, the opportunity was there, but he ended up staying with the Patriots just because of the way the organization was run and just because of the role he could fill. He actually, you know, the Patriots will not overpay for guys one bit, and so this Julian Edelman, by the sounds of things, he's earned everything he's got as far as that goes. The NFL, a lot of these contracts, you know, they just see the bottom numbers. They don't see what's really the deal here. It's, like I said, it's a very tough, brutal business. They can cut you any time. So, again, he put all that, dialed it in, and got to work. And it sounds like Tom Brady does the same thing. So, I'm personally admire the Patriots. Like I said, I grew up a 49ers fan. I'm still a 49ers fan still. But I do admire the professionalism and just everything that goes along with the Patriots. So, again, I definitely recommend getting this book. I did enjoy it. It wasn't the best biography I ever read. You know, I read Oral Hershiser's biography. I read Drew Brees' biography. There's some good stuff in that. All those three individuals I just mentioned had to overcome a lot of adversity. Drew Brees is a similar story to Julian Edelman in the fact that, you know, size thing. And when you get down to it, it really doesn't matter. It really has to do with skill level. Skill level is number one, not necessarily physical attributes. You know, it's what kind of skill do you have. And I used to be, you know, in my athletic career, I was all about physical numbers. I never looked at the mental game. I never looked at the spiritual side of the game, and I totally regret that. So, definitely pick it up, though. I'd recommend, you know, if you're any sort of fan of football, definitely study what this man does, and I'd definitely pick it up. Okay, so again, that's my book review of Relentless by with Tom E. Curran about Julian Edelman. This is Rob again signing out. You guys have a good day.